All right, well, on a good way, good joke, so we don't see us, Nyardy. Gazit dans the deal, you just go, we know you and do just go in the storm, no, not talking to me. Retin over all do Garunga Garia Gessu, yet the sort of Asutanka Garakwa, yet in the stars in Zagi, than a Veguska, Neganungwe. Retin over all do so weird and that Kundun heads of that gauss, a grades and he gone after the Gerda, a quago of Quadri, and Uncle Supna. Retin over all do, yet the so. Eti sotto bunhan er na de headstone me gane go rio de hawa kwe. Dan dawe adon hetsera gazat stansera ne ganungwe. Dan dawe adon hetsera gazat stansera ne asat niga dardige ne ganyanga haga radinyato. Ronata hroni dano riskreuge. Dano dan dawe atu gatsera. A go on a go to yana dasera go in a scana, ori wheel, Gary what body shoots it on a gazette stansera. Damda we ori wheel, Gary Gayanda one and they gonna go deal. Okay, so as you know, every time we get together for a council meeting, ceremony, anything of importance, we always have to carry out a Honda Gadi Wadekwa first. This is the words that come before all else. It's where we identify and give thanks to the things within creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. So we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation. And when you look up into the nighttime sky, you're not looking into cold, dark, empty, lifeless space the way that non-native science would lead you to believe. No, instead you are looking into the living, vibrant body of our great mother. And so we give thanks to her, to Sky Woman, as it is she who has given us spirit. And just to expand on that, to think, we're talking about, right now we're identifying in as few and simple words as we can, the entire cosmos. Because when we're talking about the body of Sky Woman, we're talking about everything that is within the entire waterverse, everything that is physical matter throughout the waterverse, which the non-native knows as the universe, that all of that makes up the body of Sky Woman. And so we, like your fingernail on your pinky finger, or the hair in your nostrils, it's all growing out of part of your body. It all gets its life from your body. It gets its spirit from you, from your power, your energy. And so when we're looking at everything that exists within the cosmos, within the body of Sky Woman, then all of this exists because of her. We exist because of her, because of our great mother. And so if you think like a cell, a single cell within your body, which there are trillions, approximately 37 trillion cells, they say, within your body. You think on the smallest scale of just one of those cells and you quantify it to being you. That's you. You just think of one cell. Where? In the elbow. In your elbow. One tiny little cell right there. Even if you think it's a little part of something that you could see, of course, a cell is many, many times smaller than whatever it is you could imagine in your elbow. So all the life within the body may not be aware of the entire body. It may be aware that it's within a body, but it may not be aware of what kind, what type of body. Maybe we're in the body of a penguin or a water buffalo or a deer or a wolf. But all of these things are within the body of our Mother Earth, and our Mother Earth is within the body of our solar cell, and our solar cell within our galactic cell, and our galactic cell within the larger body of Sky Woman. And so when we say that we give thanks to Sky Woman, as it is she who has given us spirit, my goodness, it's boiling hot in here. Can you open that door for now? When it cools down, or it gets too cool for you, just close the door back. So, thinking of Sky Woman, to contemplate, comprehend Sky Woman. I know it's something that all of us say. I know, like myself, I was taught since I was a baby. I was probably saying Sky Woman, probably before I even knew or understood what those English words were describing. So I know that since I was a baby, I am taught of these things. I am trained in this, raised in it. And so over a lifetime, when somebody who's trained that way, when you say sky woman, of course, there comes a whole set of understanding, sentiments, comprehension, knowledge, much more than, of course, what your average non-native person can comprehend, because they're limited by their God syndrome. And their God syndrome, and even their laws of physics syndrome, keeps them locked in, confined into a very tight parameter of what life is, where life within the body of Sky Woman has no parameters except Sky Woman herself. And those parameters are limited solely by Guyana Dasa Gaskanavua. And this is the law of all creation that stems from the very small and up to the very big. So from the level of the smallest that you could imagine, fractaling your perceptions, to the largest level of comprehension that could be attained, like to say sky woman. I know anyone could say sky woman, and we could think, okay, that's everything. But of course, when you contemplate sky woman, then the bigness of her, the beauty, the complication, the complexity of her is vast. It is so vast that to understand, or to like say, like to manage your life in such a way that you are conducive to it, is to take a lifetime. And it could be solely what our whole training is here on, while we're on Earth. It could be just to align with the knowledge of Sky Woman. And maybe by the time that somebody attains that's like the equivalent of being in school and your final exam. And once you do your final exam, either you're going to repeat or you're going to move on. And so the knowledge of Sky Woman and the complexities of her is the same as a human being mastering just being human. So for guys, this means, of course, what a lot of guys may not want to confront is, of course, it means for us guys, it's a balance of us and the life giver, and it's accommodating. It's not standing our ground and saying, I ain't giving in to you. No, I want this, and you know, like a negotiations type of thing. No, the negotiations for a guy is within himself, to negotiate his calmness, his steadfastness, his love, to negotiate himself into being proper human, to being acceptable, to being fitting in with the other people around you, to, like on the cellular level, as you know, all your cells get along. They're all getting along in my body, they seem like. So they're all conducive to each other. Well, humans are supposed to be this way also. And when on the collective scale, either within the family or the clan or the community or the nation, if we're not all working in that way, conducivity to each other, then we have a breakdown. And when there is a breakdown, it's sort of like, imagine if you got a breakdown in your muscles. Like recently I had my psychotic nerve was acting up. You just think of the breakdown on that level, as that it would cause you, or parts of your body, to not be able to function. And so this could happen within yourself, within your family, because if there is a breakdown within your family, let's say, I don't know, an argument, a breakup between mom and dad, you know that affects the entire family. It affects the children. If mom and dad breaks up, the children could live through it fine. Maybe 40 years you'll be through it no matter what. The children are always going to have that trauma of their parents breaking apart, of them not being together as a unit. And even if their life experience was the best that it could possibly be, while apart, not being together with the family, mother, father, family. As good as the experience could be, it is still going to be a setback for that individual. And so, what we see or what we're aware of is that each person has to find that conducivity, has to find that balance. I got to find that balance with not just the life giver that you might be married to, or girlfriend and boyfriend, or friend, or just associate, but all life givers must be accommodated. Say, for instance, a couple of weeks ago or last week, not to say any names, but a life giver came here and was just telling me about their hardships and their issues, what's happening with their family, how their family was coming down on them and preventing them from growing the way that they wanted. So, of course, on your average, every average time, day of the week or whatever, that it's not really something that life givers would dwell in. They got busy stuff to do, they got things to do, so it's not so much dwelled in until maybe, I don't know, maybe at night when you're laying there trying to go to sleep and you have these things floating around in your head through the day, and you see that, well, maybe in your personal life, your family's coming down on you, and then this causes you to maybe bark at somebody else, and then from there, like a little bad relations from there. So it's a matter of the males, to the best of our ability, accommodating that on every level. Of course, it's not like I'm giving in. It's not like I'm standing my ground. It's a matter of negotiating the best possible outcome to all of our time together, to our day. So we could either have a day of arguing and hardships, or we can have a day of where everything is just flowing good and everybody's nice to each other. Everything seems to be working. Okay, so anyways, yeah, just to expand on the when we give thanks to Skyline, that we're not talking just about Sky Woman, the body of the waterverse. We're talking about all that is the life giver, the female, within the cycles of creation. And so it means your mother, it means your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, your aunts, your friends. It means every life giver. So when the males are talking about, or else just conducting ourselves the way that we would think we should when referencing Sky Woman, then that is to be applied with everyone. That when we see our friends, we see Sky Woman, if it's a girl, your girlfriend. We see our actual girlfriend or our wife, we're seeing Sky Woman. We're communicating, interacting with Sky Woman, because the life givers are the extension, are the continuation of her. And so every life giver today that is alive today, even though we're evolved, into what we are, if you would go back to the beginnings, the very instance of creation of Sky Woman herself, well, maybe she might not look like a woman. Maybe she might just look like a one-celled amoeba. Maybe just a boom, boom, boom. Sort of like a blip on a radar screen, something that just sort of seemingly is like breathing. So maybe she would seem like that, but regardless, if that is her first phase of creation, whatever it was, then evolution to get to where we are now today of who knows, billions, bazillions, quadrillions of years, who knows. Regardless, the current form of life giver as what we all know, is a woman, female human being, that this is the embodiment of Sky One. It's a physical representation. So we're never talking about something of the past. We're always talking about something of the now. When you're talking of Sky One, it's not something that occurred. It's something that is, something that will be. And so if we interact with Sky Woman, or even just think about her in a way like it is something of the past, then you lose sight as to how to interact with her today, or how to conduct yourself around her representatives today. Who's Sky Woman's representatives? If you got a daughter that was just born this morning, then that is Sky Woman's representative today. That's what Sky Woman looks like today. And so everybody together making up the nation, then we know that there is one part of us that is the living embodiment of Sky Woman. And then there's the other part of us that are the hands of Sky Woman, the hands of our mothers, the male that is supposed to be conducive to the female, building her house within this world, and so on and so on. So from there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to Grandma Moon, it's she who regulates the flow of life, blood, and all things. And so we give thanks to her, to Grandma Moon, as it is she who has given us blood. My voice is already From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of what color you are, what language you speak, where you've grown up from Mother Earth, or what you imagine divides us. Regardless of these things, we all come from the same mother, making us all one family, sisters, brothers, all relations, all together. And so we give thanks to her, to Mother Earth, as it is she who has given us body. From there, we give our thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to them, for in this world, they give us purpose and direction. Now think of this, they give us purpose and direction. So when you, when there's a male that is violating a female in any way whatsoever, then that guy is not being conducive with her purpose and direction that she has given us. So this means then that that guy is spiraling out of control on his own in this world. He is not conducive to creation. It's like he's not a part of creation because he's not listening to his mother. You know, so who wouldn't listen to their mother? Think of this. Who would not listen to mom? Well, we know the non-native people don't listen to their mothers. And probably every non-native person listening right now is probably saying, that's not true. I listen to my mother. And they're probably thinking in their heads all the examples. Although, I listen to my mother all this time, whatever. Well, I'm not talking about the individuals, because the individual non-native people, when you are interacting with an individual non-native, everything is fine. Everything is, would it be better? On our individual communication, it's all perfect communication. Myself, when I'm communicating individually to non-native people, it's very rare that there is any disagreements between us. Because as long as I'm thinking within law and I'm speaking that way, conducting myself that way, then there is really nothing that anybody can disagree with. And so if I'm speaking law with my own people, then there I can argue with them, because there we're arguing on the positive side about how to discover more positiveness. But with the non-native people, we're speaking on the negative side, trying to get them to the positive. So when this happens and we're speaking individually, like I said, it's always, I've never had an argument with non-native people except in the courts, of course, just with judges and prosecutors and police, of course. they're the only ones that are not conducive with the realities of creation, because they are trying to inflict their colonial systems upon the native people. And that means, of course, that they are bad human beings. So you can never have a good or right or proper conversation with a cop, a judge, or a prosecutor, because they are all coming from the screwed up way of thinking of colonial colonialism, from that colonial perspective. And they don't even know. They don't even know that they're systemically racist. Maybe a lot of them do know it. Maybe a lot of them are consciously that way, especially the males. But I'll say that there's a possibility that some of them don't know, that they're just being in the non-native bumping of things, like they're just going along with their majority. And that's what I find, that when you're with the majority or groupings of them, then it's very hard to even be able to speak in a proper way, like have a proper discussion, a proper council process, because collectively they all think from the corruption of democracy. And so you can never have, on a collective level, any kind of conversation of meaning or of importance with the non-native people, because their minds are subdued by democracy. And they all think, or can't say think because it's not a thinking process. They all just relegate themselves to accepting that whatever the structures are or the functions of democracy, that they just fall right into it, without realizing that they are systemically racist. So, what I have found is that as individuals, when you're communicating with non-native people on an individual level, that's the easiest place, the easiest time to have conversations of meaning, of importance, of being able to gain ground, and as far as understanding between. But what I've also seen is that collectively, the non-native people have no desire to understand anything. They have no desire except to carry out and to fulfill what their functions of democracy are, which is systemic racism. So, yeah, it's like dealing with that kid that has his hands, gets caught with his hands in the cookie jar. They'll still be denying, even when they're caught red-handed. And they'll even say, no, it wasn't me. And they'll say, well, it was because of this, or it was because of that. Excusing their behavior. So, yeah, within what I've come to see within the non-native world, collectively, you cannot speak to the non-native people. You'll never get anywhere. Can't get anywhere with them like that. Individually, you can gain ground. You can advance. And so what this shows me of the non-native people is that collectively they are a monster, as we all know. I mean, it's undeniable that when we look at the world, who spread around the world their chaos, their corruption? Who was it? Well, you can break it down to native and non-native. Was it the native? No, it wasn't. It was the non-native. And then once you've got it to the non-native, you can break that down and just identify, well, who was it specifically? It's the white man, the white people. And you break that down. Is it the white people? Well, it's the white man. So it's not so much the white people as it is the white man. So, but I also see groupings in white non-native women. As they get into groupings of more white non-native women, they get caught in that Karen trap, where their thinking becomes Karen even. They're in a fight. Yeah, and then it's like one of them says, "Oh no, it's not that," and then the other one's, "Yeah, it's not that," and then ooh, all of a sudden it flares up, like gets into something out of control. So it shows us that we need to have, Native people need to have a collective individual approach to addressing the non-native people, the non-native issue. And you can say, or I'll say the non-native problem. And the non-natives will say, what? What do you mean non-native problem? Well, you can look at this entire world and anyone can deduce easily there is a non-native problem in this world. So it's you can look in any country where you're at, and you can see that there is something there that is non-native that is causing a problem to all that is native. Now, whether it is, say, an invasive species of a plant, well, that plant did not get there on its own to become an invasive species, so it's not an invasive species. The reality is that on Mother Earth, there is no naturally occurring invasive species. Not true. And to label, say, like those little ladybug type of things, they look like ladybugs, they're here in the summertime and they bite, they hurt like hell. Those are, I think they're Asian ladybugs. I forget precisely what strain of ladybug they are, but I think they're called Asian ladybugs, the bitey ones. So when you consider that, how it got here, it's not that ladybug or a bug that looks like a ladybug that's invasive. No. It's the thing that brought them here. So what it comes down to on the earth, there is only one invasive species, and that's the white man. That's the white man that brought all of these other things that they call invasive species that they brought here. They call them invasive species, when it is actually them, the white man, that is the invasive species. Without that white man, that invading into Turtle Island, invading all over the earth, that Asian ladybug, that's what it is, would not be here. It would not be here. It would not be an invasive species, because species, just like people, grow out of the land from where they live. It's not like the white man. They come from somewhere on the other side of the earth, and they move all around the earth, destroying everything, everywhere that they go. So there is no species other than the white man that conducts themselves like that. Nothing else on earth. Everything else on earth, again, that the white man calls invasive species, are things that they created. So imagine you go and I don't know, who would be an example? I don't know, bring your children somewhere and they start creating havoc, and then you just say like, oh, they're an invasive species. Wait a minute, they come from you. So it's not them that's the invasive species. It comes down to you. If you did not teach your children right and proper how to be conducive with other people, with friends, extended family, people that they don't know. The white people obviously did not teach their children proper human conduct, proper human behavior like this, because the white people have in fact spread themselves around the earth, being that invasive species. But then again, like we said, when we break it down, who is it? Is it the white woman who done that? Or is it the white man that's done this? Is it the white woman that are spreading war all around the earth, that are just indiscriminately killing as a source of income? Is it the white woman that are doing that? Imagine if the whole world was just tricked into seeing this white man doing it for hundreds of years, and we all just think it's the white man without us knowing like there's a shadow person behind him pulling his strings. Oh, it's this secret white woman behind the shadows type of thing. Well, who knows? Maybe it is. But what we're seeing, and what everyone has been seeing for hundreds of years, is it's the white man. There's no two ways around it. It is the white man that is an invasive species on the planet that is destroying everything, everywhere that he steps foot. Because everywhere he does not belong there, but yet he insists on going there. And when he goes there, he brings his disease. And he infects these new places with his white man's disease. And so today, here within Turtle Island, there are many native people who have the white man's disease, meaning they think just like him, they're warmongers just like him. They have no respect whatsoever for the life givers. They are basically rapists. They don't live by being conducive to the life givers. They live by ruling over the life givers. And so this is very obvious within every so-called religion, within their politics, within their social structures. Oh my goodness, it's like it's in the whole dynamics or matrix of them. Like if you think of the spirit in your body, where spirit's corrupted. If you think of the physicalness of their body, where everything's supposed to function, it's all corrupted, it's all twisted and ugly, the way that, for those of you who know of the formation of the league, the way that Taradaho was, the way he looked before the formation of the league. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, I don't know where I left off in translating the Home Gadi Wadekwa, but I'll leave it at that. And just to say, if there's anything that is left out, then it's for you to put in its proper place. Okay, so today, talk about what's happening today. Let's see, it must have been around, what time did you just get back here, you and Holly?
Around 3,
3:30.
maybe, yeah, a little bit, no, maybe a little bit before, actually.
A little before 3? Okay, yeah. Just before you got here, I get a knock on the door, and I'm sitting here, it's boiling hot in here, so I got no shirt on, you know, and I go to the door, and I see it's Aaron Delarose, who lives just down the street, and I've known him ever since he was a kid. He's known me, and him and I, we always had this little fooling around way of talking between us, you know, like funny way. I won't identify what it is because that's him and I. Since he was a kid, we talked this way. I spoke to him, and I think I know him since he was probably since 1987. I know him. So he must have been, I don't know, probably not even 10. I bet you. Since I've known him. Yeah, anyways. So he's at the door and he says, "Hey, are you sleeping?" And I said, "Nah, just too damn hot in here." Anyways, he tells me that he's gonna close down the road, and he was asking for help if I could go give him a hand, you know. And I says, "Well, I can't right now. I did have something else to do in the afternoon. But I said I will go down there for a minute, you know, and go do a live video to share it so that everybody in Ganawagi and elsewhere would be aware of what's happening to avoid the area." Now, where Aaron is just he's at the school right across the street from the school that's just down the street from me here, and a lot of traffic there as of late. First, because of the construction that was there, shutting down the road, it was terrible for everybody. But in the recent days, since the road's been opened back up, traffic from Chattageek, Leary, Bohornwa is crazy out of hand. The traffic was so backed up in the last few days that right in front of my house here, beyond what I could see, up near the radio station, and I don't know, maybe even beyond that, cars backed up. Now, for here in Ganawagi, traffic like that is unheard of. There's no reason for that, but. Anyways, yesterday, one of my neighbors, I think it was her friend, I don't think it was my neighbor. One of her friends took a picture from her porch of all the traffic there. And they posted it and they said something like, enough already. Basically just that, you know. And I commented saying enough is too much. Because if that's enough and we're already at enough, it's already too much. So, yeah, it was building in the people in the community over the last couple of weeks as to the short fuses everybody was having about the traffic here. So anyways, you know, people have been voicing on Facebook, social media about the disdain and yeah, about their fed upness. So today, when Aaron said that to me, I said, right on, man, far out. Yes, I support you 100%. I said, but I couldn't go there right then at that time. But I said, I'd go down there and I would do a little live video. Okay, so should we share the live video? Maybe just show a little part of it. Just so that people can get a sense of you know, what I'm talking about here. Anyways, when we go there, one of the PKs are there flagging traffic. It's Forrest. I forget Forrest's last name. Anyways, it's Forrest. I know him for 25 years. Yeah, at least. Maybe even a little more than that. Anyways, believe it or not, we used to play backgammon together. Long time ago. Long time ago, man. Yeah, so we interviewed Aaron. Just a little short so he could say what's going on there, what's happening. And yeah, he just let us know that people have had enough, you know, they're fed up. Is that being shared right now?
No.
Okay, so we got the video. Maybe go a little bit further where we were interviewing them. That's like maybe halfway through the video. Yeah, around there you go. Okay, we'll just show a couple of seconds. Yeah, it wasn't that nice a while ago, so you know, for Aaron to be there, like for him to get out of his house, go stand out there in the rain, you know that he's really committed to the action. It's right in front of his house. Traffic is crazy there, and I know that sometimes he can't even move out of his driveway. Like myself here, yesterday we had to like just shoot up into the traffic. You know, and then the people are looking at you like all mean faced, like mean faced comment for something, you know, like we just would you know, would have been got some negative energy there. Okay, so anyways, let's just show a minute of it.
Last time the 30, it's still good, 130. And is there a sign that stores, you know, on the highway?
Oh, I think we're having bad reception.
Okay, some things with the video. All right, just to show it. Anyways, Aaron, when he was talking, he gave thanks that the peacekeepers came out and were directing traffic. Yeah, we could stop sharing that. Shows my big fuzzy face there. And then shake. Yeah, stop sharing
I wanted to share like
it. Stop sharing it.
Ah,
Stop sharing.
well, it's in your
Okay,
Facebook
so
anyway.
anyways, when he what he was saying, giving thanks that the peacekeepers were there, directing traffic, it's just to show that I could imagine that yesterday, even the PKs must have had a hard time getting out of the driveway for the PKs, because the traffic was so backed up, so even they must have had, some kind of like, imagine if they had to go to a call and they can't even get out of the damn driveway, so I could imagine even they are impacted, not just as PKs, but as Ganawagi impacted by the negative of the traffic flow that's coming through Ganawagi now. So anyways, just to say that Aaron having the gumption to get out there and to take this action, it's not just because of him and what he's seeing and what his family is saying there, it's a matter of everyone in Ganawagi who's getting fed up, who's being pushed, and who's just saying, that's enough now. So Aaron said that that's enough. He put his foot down, he got out there and he said, he's blocking the road. So, wow. Yeah, that's a Ganyagahaga land defender. And so on one end of the spectrum, the people are there and taking action. On the other end of the spectrum, the people who are paid for stuff like that, like the PKs, they're there also. But again, as I could imagine, now I'm not certain of this, but I could just imagine that is going to walk your own. Whoever's PK is probably pissed off with that also. Imagine it's like right at rush hour traffic, and maybe it's the end of their shift, and somebody wants to get home, come into town, and they can't even leave the PK station. They got to move into the traffic there. It's not like they could just zip on by if they're in their own like personal vehicle. So you have to move into that traffic flow and be stuck to get from 500 feet from 1,000 feet from the PK station to the stop sign by the school. And it might take you like 10 minutes to get that far, maybe even 15 minutes, because the traffic was inching along like this. It was moving so slow. So for me, it's just an observation, and it's an assessment without asking the PK, who was there for us, without asking, but just assessing that whether it's in their official capacity as a cop, that they probably didn't like the extra traffic there either. But as an individual Ganawagirona, they probably sure as hell did not like that traffic flow coming to Ganawagi. Okay, so this is the latest thing that has happened here. It's in the realm, the scope of Ganyagahaga land defenders, because to take action like that, that is Aaron taking action to protect, defend the community, to defend the territory, to even defend the children that are right there, one of the busiest intersections in Ganawagi. There's really only 3 intersections in Ganawagi that would constitute the busiest. But this one here, of course, it's the only one that has a constant flow of non-native people. The other 2 intersections in Ganawagi, maybe some non-natives, not as much as here. The one you get further into the center of town, near the funeral parlor, well, that one, it's pretty much all just Ganawagi going at that intersection. We could deal with our own traffic, maybe even if we got mad at each other and flipped the bird at somebody, at each other. Well, that's Ganawagi going. But then when you've got these tons of non-native people flowing through and they're disrespectful and they're acting like as if they got the right to be here, and they'll like communicate back to you if you're even standing there on the side, Aaron, of course you got to look in the car to see who it is, and they're like adversarial. And just in the first place, they're all speeding through here. They're not all of them are disrespectful, but you could say the majority. To say that it is it's the norm for the non-native people moving here, moving through Ganawagi. that you could say as a collective, they're all disrespectful. The, the, the minority of them, I don't know, guesstimate, maybe 1 out of 10 is considerate, you know, that they know that they're in Ganawagi and they want to be respectful. But then that gets washed away, and all the ones that aren't respectful, and then if there's like Aaron or myself or other people standing out there, and they see disrespectful white person after another, and then there's one respectful one, kind of gets washed away, you know, like you're just seeing them as all just disrespectful. And after 3 or 4 disrespectful ones, then you start responding to them as like they're all that way. And then even the one that is respectful will get a disrespect from the native people, or seemingly it will seem like that. It's the conditions that are inflicted upon us all, because we know that what they're doing, what the construction in Chattagee, that it's outrageous. Like, you gotta be insane. If you are a what would you call them? Highway management, or whoever designs the highways, the construction zones and all of that. I don't think anybody has ever seen a worse construction zone than what exists at the edge of the reserve where Chattagee begins there at St. John Baptist Boulevard. That has got to be the craziest, out of control construction zone anywhere. And I'd say that it's very specifically placed to be that way, because it just pisses off everybody in Chattagee. You know, like come through Ganawagi, you know, from the bridge to Chattagee in the past, I don't know, maybe it was like 5 minutes. Now it'd be almost 45 minutes to an hour. Even just the traffic that we seen yesterday was backed up right from the light in Chattagee, right to the light here by the arena. Of course, if you're not from Ganawagi, you're not from this area, you're not gonna know what that is, but anybody who knows what that is, it's like, what? The traffic backed up that much, and to know that in Chattagee, it's not free flowing over there, not even to say a light comes on and traffic can flow for 3 minutes, everybody go. No, it's a stop sign, basically, a flashing red light. Everybody's got to stop. And so it causes chaos where you got basically 2, 4, 6 lanes, all narrowed down into 2. And for one of those 2 lanes, there's a left turn. So imagine trying to turn left in that all the cars behind you, if they want to go straight, and you're waiting for the other traffic to clear, all those cars behind you are going to be stuck there. So you can just imagine everybody getting royally pissed off. Everybody in the area is highly agitated. And it's going to be this way for, I think the construction in Chattagee is for over a year, right?
I think even in 2027, I'm not
To
certain, but
2027? So you just think, oh my goodness, it's like they're squeezing the people until somebody's going to just go crazy, and somebody's going to kill somebody. Somebody's going to do something. So we know that for non-native people who want to go to Leary and Bahornwa, that coming through Ganawagi, it's a shortcut for them, because they think going straight through Ganawagi, that was what they used to do. And now they can't, so they got to take this back road, so to speak. Okay, so a warning to everybody, and we're going to post this and share this with our group, our friends and groups that we know around the city area. We're going to put out a little announcement for all non-native people going from Leary, Bahornwa, that area, to do not waste your time coming to Ganawagi. Take Highway 30. It's going to be a little extra time, but if you predetermine you're going to go that way in advance, maybe the extra time is gonna be maybe about 15 extra minutes on your time. But if you go this way, you know it's gonna put on at least an extra half hour, 45 minutes. So don't bother going this way. You are only gonna get pissed off. It's only gonna upset you in your life. It's gonna affect your children. It's gonna affect everybody. So for everyone to know, all the non-native people, at rush hour traffic, the road, the OCR, going to Chattageek, going to onto Leary and Bourne, it's closed here to rush hour traffic. No non-native, no non-local traffic is permitted going through. Not just today, tomorrow, the next day, until the construction is over in Chattageek. Until it's an easy flow. So you're looking at maybe a year. Little over a year because it's only 27, maybe a year and a half. So everybody just start planning your trip in advance to go down Highway 30, and then once you're there, I mean, instead of taking the Mercier Bridge, you're most likely going to take the Champlain Bridge from there. Or if you do take the Mercier, then it's really just a little bypass around Dunawag. And it's all highway. If you take Highway 30 and then you get to the 132 and then go to the Mercier Bridge, okay, there is a small part through Ganawagi on the 132 where there's a little bit of traffic, but not like if you're taking this back road here. So yeah, all non-native people coming from Chattageek, Bahornwa, Leary, rush hour traffic, do not come through Ganawagi down the OCR, the Old Malone road. Do not come that way. You will not be permitted. You will be turned around. That's gonna piss you off more. So don't do something that's gonna piss you off more. Yeah. So bypass Ganawagi. There you go. Aaron's gonna be out there. Other people will be out there. I'll be out there helping him when I can on a daily basis. So, and the PKs will be out there just managing the traffic. And so just think, if you're a non-native person and you're out there and you get turned around and you're pissed off and you get angry and you do something, possibility with the cops there, well, maybe you'll end up with some kind of infraction. You don't want that. Nobody wants the hardships that we're all being squeezed into right now. So in the morning when you leave, avoid Ganawagi. In the afternoon when you're coming back from Montreal or over the bridge, Mercier Bridge, do not come through Ganawagi. Of course, if you're coming over the Mercier Bridge, you're going to come through Ganawagi. I'm talking about, do not think you're going to take the back road here. So if you come through Ganawagi, everybody exit to the left towards Delson, St. Constant, go to Highway 30, which from the bridge is only not even a minute's ride. And then once you're on Highway 30, from there to the Leary exit, where Walmart is, where the hospital is. From there, that's probably maybe a 5-minute ride. Not even 10 minutes at the most. So you will be saving more time overall if you just go that way first. As opposed to coming into Ganawagi and getting turned around and going, God damn it, and being all pissed off and saying, and then ending up having to wait in the slower traffic anyways. Yeah, okay. What else? I didn't really have anything on my mind. Was there anything tonight that anybody had to be presented?
Yes.
We were supposed to address or anything?
The Life Givers Nation was supposed to present the text for the
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
the
It's getting a little chilly. I know that door, I'm gonna close it.
yeah.
Chill. Okay, are you doing this or?
Yes,
do I
I'm
start talking
logging.
about other things?
Logging in.
No, excuse me.
Okay, it's gonna go, so I'm going to go ahead and digits está soko, ang sa tayo dachis ko panchita, daga na sa tayo nila dachis ko salsa, zapotec ni hontagi, mexika, humanista, hinata yun yung kinasadista na toharay gano sesna, yadi niyang kaha, gano wagin yung bisin hontagi, o no wanagi, to wanagi. Okay, so this cycle, the whole year, the Life Givers Nation decided to present the honor and privilege that we have to attend to the ceremonies of the Longhouse in little like the script of words and also images so that everybody could have like a taste of what it is. It is important just to share that the cyclical ceremonies is basically what constitutes the identity of a nation. And it's so beautiful whenever we just present that. For example, the other day, you know, Haha is doing his book, and he goes into the city with a cultural mediator, illustrator, whose name is Parastu. And she was asking, you know, what are exactly those 13 ceremony cycles? Because we say that in the book, you know, Haha grew with the ceremonial cycles. And anyways, I explained to her very basically, and she was like all curious and so thankful, like she learned about it because, you know, she comes from Iran. So it's just like, you know, we have seen that people are thirsty of knowing that, and there's not really like a lot of means to share that. So anyways, of course, in the Tour Wampum relationship, in approval with the Longhouse, this has been done. So we have two texts to share for the corn hoeing, that even though this year we didn't have it here, it's a ceremony that is done, and also for the harvest. So as we always do, the process started from the wolf, presenting it across the floor to the bears, and then back to the wolves, and then presented to the turtles for final verification. So this is the text that we are presenting for approval of the Longhouse. So for the corn hoeing, when the corn stalks are attaining certain height, the winds and the rain might knock them down. That is why the people will gather to do the corn hoeing, to prop up the corn so it can stand and grow strong and tall. In this ceremony, people work with gardening shovels and their bare hands to do little mounds around the corn stalk to solidify the plants that will then stand tall and strong and to be able to form the complete cob of corn. This plant has been created by the mothers, instills in this fashion the need of the community. Okay, no, that was wrong. This plant that has been created by the mothers instills in this fashion the need of the community to grow as daughters and sons of the corn for each other to evolve. So if there is one needing the others will come and prop up the person, surrounding them with love, care, and attention so they can withstand the winds of life. So that's it. Do you want me to go to the next one, or you want to check that first?
Oh, that's it on there?
That's for the corn hoeing. We have the harvest too.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't hear nothing.
Okay, so harvest ceremony, when the growing season is coming to an end, the signs are clear. The corn, bean, and squash have attained maturity. The leaves start turning a bit yellow due to the changes in light and temperature, and some leaves start falling down. It is the clear indication that fall is here and that the three sisters have to be picked up before the frost arrives. Corns are stored hanging in bread so they can be utilized for food. Beans are taken out of their pod and stored in jars, and squash are placed in a cold and dry place to be utilized for cooking. From soups to pies, they are delicious. There is also a spiritual harvest, and this is going to be the indicator as to when the Gayeri ni Oriwage, the four sacred ceremonies, are going to be carried out. The harvest is the only other ceremony in the year, along with the midwinter, that requires a minimum of 4 days ceremony depending on the ball game. It is a time to reflect upon what we have harvested along the year, from the gifts of the garden to our relations, our happiness factor, and how good we have been to others, how much we have gained ground in the achievement of peace, and how loving and aligned we were to creation. What is it that you have harvested this cycle? Sana go as our way. And that's it.
Oh, okay, well, on that one, yeah, I got a little bit to say about that. Of course, when we're talking about harvest, everybody naturally thinks, corn, bean, squash, you know, stuff out of the garden, that kind of stuff, but, at the harvest, you're harvesting all of the, action, all of the memory of that, like say of the cornhole. So at some point, almost everybody has met their love, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their friend, harvesting, working in the garden. Nowadays, it's not so much, it's not like that now, because the people don't do it collectively, so they don't know what is missing. So like you said, we didn't even really do a corn hoeing this year. Our garden was really bad. But when we're so busy, there's only one of me and I got to do everything. So sometimes we incorporate two ceremonies. So like the actual work of the corn hoeing might not even happen at the corn hoeing ceremony. It may have been done a little bit before, may have been done a little bit after, you know, but so what we are harvesting is the human experience. Of course, it's food to feed ourselves, but you're also harvesting that guy when he seen that girl standing in the corn and he was attracted to her. That girl that seen that guy that she liked when she was working in the corn and he was, I don't know, like doing the work, whatever the clan mothers or the mothers were saying, oh, do this. And so the reality of how things used to be is that the young guys would all be hanging around the garden because that's where the young girls are. And of course, the only way that we would be there, or what would happen with the young guys being there, is that the women, the life givers, would be then directing those young men what to do. Hey, you go get this, go do that. You bring the firewood over here, whatever. You know, so the guys were always trying to impress the girls. If they were told, go get firewood, it's not just a little bundle, it's big giant wood, because look at this, is showing off in front of that girl that's in the corn that he wants to impress. You know, so it's those kind of things that are harvested also. It's the thoughts, it's the intentions, the sentiments that are there of what you learn this year, but you can't apply this year, you know, it can only be applied next year, or maybe even only in a couple of years. It might take, I don't know, whatever it is, it might take some build up to that, you know. So it's not just about the three sisters and the stuff that grows out of the garden. So it's to consider that you're harvesting, and especially for the women, let's say if there's an old woman in the garden and her granddaughter or grandson is just learning how to walk this year and is walking in the garden with them. That mother or that life giver may have been in the garden her whole life. Maybe as a grandmother, let's say maybe she's I don't know, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60, however old. Her whole life, 40 years in the garden, it's all been just one thing, one way. But the moment she sees her granddaughter or her grandson walking through the corn with her, and she's then got to teach her grandson or granddaughter about the story of the beans, the story of the three sisters, of the squash. Wow. Then at that time, you could just see that life giver just sitting in the garden, just love. If you could see the aura, like almost like the garden would be on fire from aura, from happiness of that grandmother having that interaction with her grandson or granddaughter for the first time in the garden. That is what is being harvested. That human experience of love, of beauty, of just being alive, being a human, living in the good way, the way that we're supposed to. You know, that woman isn't stuck in rush hour traffic. Because if she was, then she would not have that experience with her grandson or granddaughter in the garden. So you just think of things like that that are harvested. You think of that first kiss that a young girl and a young boy had in the corn, hiding from everybody else because the corn is so tall and easy. You could just slip out, right? Everybody's right there, but you could just slip out of sight of everyone. And the first time they're together and they kissed in the corn, wow. How many beautiful experiences like that. And you think of you, where did you have your first kiss? Was it something as beautiful as that? Or was it maybe in a bar somewhere? Or was it even something that was not in a way that you didn't like, if for life givers, you know? So you just think of that. However your first kiss was, would you have preferred it to be? Would it have been better to be if you were in the garden with your mother, your aunts, your family, your father, everybody around, and you see that guy or that girl that you like, and you escape with them into the corn for the first time and have that first kiss? Wow. Life all of a sudden just explodes right there with happiness, with the experience, the mere experience of being alive. This is what Sky Woman's dream is. That's the reason why Sky Woman is the way that she is, and everything in Sky Woman's dream is that way. Gardens, so that we have to work, we have to toil, we have to give of ourselves to the earth to get back. And this shows us balance. It shows us a sense of self, a sense of what's the opposite of self? Selflessness, a sense of selflessness as opposed to selfishness, you know. So yeah, those are the kind of things that have to be mentioned within the when you're talking about the harvest, the human part of it also.
Well, it's kind of there, of course, it's not as specific as you just mentioned, but it says, it is a time to reflect upon what we have harvested along the year, from the gifts of the garden to our relations, our happiness factor, and how good we have been to others, how much we have gained ground in the achievement of peace, and how loving and aligned we were to creation. Well, you know, it's like the generality, but I don't know if you wanna hold a specifications there or something.
Well, let's say, okay, you, yourself, you can't say, no, that time has gone by. Your first kiss did not happen in the garden. So you can't talk about that, but you can talk about it in as far as the overall human experience within this continuum to identify of like, this is the ideal, this is the heights that we shoot for. And yeah, to identify what the ideal experiences would be within that. And even if it wasn't harvested this year, it's harvested. Just to mention it, it's harvested, because you know that there are people in the past that have had their first kiss in the garden, seen their first love in the garden. experience their first, I think of, now here's something, you know of this also. When our friends, the mines from Mascachis were here. When was that? In 2017, huh? Almost 10 years ago. They had a little boy with them, Enzo. Enzo or Enzo?
I think it's Enzo.
Enzo. He was such a strong native feature look to him, you know, and he was maybe 3 years old.
3 or 4, yeah.
He was just a little kid, like a little, and he's running in the garden, in the circle garden through the corn, and he's got my drum and he's beating it, and I'm running behind him and I'm chasing him, and he's laughing and he's going, ah, and he's running, beating the drum, and he knows like he's trying to escape from me, and he's getting all excited, like I'm almost catching him. Like that is what's harvested from the garden. You know, that kind of thing. That's something that you've seen, that you know that firsthand. So I think of myself with my sons all my life, all their life, born and raised in the garden. They never didn't have a garden. You know, at a certain age for them, you know, like the young ones, you can also somehow incorporate in there that the young ones, maybe the young guys, maybe they're too interested in this or that. They don't want to be in the garden. So then at a certain point, it's like a garden of resistance. It's gardening with resistance, you know, like being there reluctantly, you know, at a certain point. But still, to know the importance is there. Even though they're there reluctantly, they are still there. You know, so, yeah, just somehow to have sentiments incorporated like that, because just think of this as being a one-time thing. You'll never do this again. So just think that this will be there far into the future for people to read and to say, okay, get a sense of what the harvest is, you know, what the sense of these things are. So just think of, I'm leaving this forever. It's gonna leave its mark into the future. So how you can incorporate those things in there.
Well, we kind of did, that's what I'm saying. I get exactly what you're saying, but I mean, like, you know, those are the personal experiences that everybody observes, lives, you know, and it's through the sharing. But in generality, it's like that, you know, our relations, our happiness factor, would we have been to others?
Yeah, that's a generalities, like you said. It doesn't identify that specific of chasing that little boy through the garden, through the corn, and him laughing and that interaction.
Well, do you want to add it? Because that's what we usually do. This has been already deliberated. It's already like one mind from the Life Givers Nation. And usually when we present these things, you will do a little tweak, you will add this or that, you know, and then it's finalized. But now it's like if you're kind of telling us to go back and redo the job because, you know.
Well, what did you just said you're presenting this here for
Yeah,
long
for-
disapproval, so it's
Well, yeah,
it's
but
input, I'm telling you.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's the only time that this has been like that. Like what we do is that we take the time to do it here, live. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to add something?
I
Like,
just told you.
well, where? Like that's what you do.
Like I said, for you to figure that out. It's coming from you. You seen that. I'm giving you an example of something that you've seen with this young kid, but what Enzo. It's 10 years ago. It may not have been in this year's garden, but it is. If we wouldn't be so damn busy this year and just so few of us, so spread out, so you know that all of these experiences would be there every year, but they're not because we're spread out so thin and we're so damn busy. We don't have time to even pick our own nose. Gotta hire somebody for that. So yeah, just draw on this experience that you can remember. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Okay, so, that was it as far as what we decided to do.
Mhm.
Okay, so, far as anything else, just an update on, about the Ganyaga Land Defenders action to, help, Jason Dybel, Alan Fishy Bova. And the actions that the ban system was taken against them pertaining to the land, pertaining to usage of land. If you've been with us, you know that there was issue in the last couple of weeks. There was a meeting 2 weeks ago. There was an action last week, last Monday, that the Ganyaga Land Defenders had taken to go and assist physically to be on the site of Jason Dybel's place at the end of the 207, the west. It's a convenience store. Yeah, the update on that is that nothing is happening so far, but this does not mean that the Ganyaga Land Defenders, that Jason Dybel, his family, that doesn't mean that they're all just, oh, okay, it's over, so they forget about it. No, everybody knows that the ban system is gonna pull something sneaky. They gotta, they're not gonna leave it just like this. They're gonna try to pull something sneaky at some time, so myself, I've been contacting Jason periodically, 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, different days. Hey, anything going on out there? No, everything's fine. But if he doesn't message me in the first place, anyways, I know everything's fine. So, but anyways, I will message him just to ask, just for us to have that contact, so that then I could then post something to say everything's okay, or like tonight, just to give an update on it. So everything right now so far is okay. All the people who were gathered, I'm getting a little feedback that they want to have a like a second gathering, like a regrouping, to just to touch base again. So maybe in a couple of weeks, depending on the availability of everybody, that we could have a second gathering at the same place, at Jason Dybel's place, the west. And when this happens, it will be announced. So if there's anybody else in Ganawagi or Ganasadagi or Kozasni, Tayandanega, maybe might want to come down and just to observe, join in the interaction. You know, if that's the case, once we know, once it's established as to the next meeting, the follow-up meeting, then it's going to be shared with everybody. But so far, everything looks good. Everybody who was present is all of one mind. Nobody is wavering in their positions to say, oh, gee, I don't know, maybe I acted in haste or whatever. No, everybody's still on board 100%. Nobody is wavering in their positions. So it is still that everybody is still within like a link together, that if something did happen, if there was something going on out there, Jason would contact, everybody knows like the chain of communication, how it's supposed to take place. I won't identify it here, but everybody who was present all knows that chain of communication, and that is still there on a daily basis. So if there was anything that was going to take place, if they think they're going to catch the people with their pants down or by surprise, well, they're the ones that are going to be in for the surprise, because the people of Ganawagi are fed up. They're not going to continue standing for the corruptions that the ban system is trying to ram down their throats of compromising the lands, the territories of Ganawagi in whatever the agreements or law adjustments that the ban system has made. There is obviously something that they've done dirty, underhanded, behind the backs of the people of Ganawagi, to all of a sudden allow corporations or enabling corporations to own land. This is something new here. So this is a corruption that the people of Ganawagi are not gonna allow the ban system to get away with. They're gonna push the ban system to the point of where something is gonna break. Something's gonna snap. And if the ban system just thinks that, oh, they're gonna wait on this and they're gonna wait till the people are in their Christmas holidays or something, you know, like they're gonna sneak up and on the people and get them by surprise. This is gonna backfire on the ban system. No matter what, it's backfiring on the ban system because they've done something illegal that they should not have done. What it is yet, we don't know. We can easily deduce, like we said, they changed the law or they created some kind of law or some kind of provision or negotiated it with the province, enabling corporations to be able to buy and own land here in Ganawagi. And when you know that a corporation is viewed, even if the corporation is owned completely by natives, it is legally viewed in the courts as being a non-native entity, which is taxable. So it means that when the ban system opens up the lands of Ganawagi for sale to corporations, that means they're opening it up to taxation. And so this is a corruption that the people of Ganawagi did not ever say to the ban system, hey, why don't you open up the lands of Ganawagi for corporations to own it so that the lands could be taxable? The people never said that to the ban system, and the ban system never asked the people if they can do whatever the corruption is that they done, enabling this kind of corruption of corporations being able to own land here in Ganawagi. Okay, so this is a very big issue. It is not going to go away. They thought that it could be something that could just slip on by, that the people would not notice or would not detect it. But the people are aware of it. And the people have put their foot down just the same way that Aaron put his foot down today to say, that's enough. I don't care if he didn't care what the PK said. He didn't care what the whoever's in charge of, like, let's say public security or whatever, or roads or something like that. He didn't ask them. He didn't care to ask them for their permission. No, he's a Ganawagi owner that sees action must be taken. Other Ganawagi owner, you can be certain we're talking with him because I know that his cousin, who lived just a couple of houses down, like I said, there was somebody there who took a picture of it and were posting on social media, and there was a flurry of communication with all different people in town. So you know that on some level that Aaron didn't just didn't just act on his own. He acted by gathering the minds of the people that he's communicating with. And so the same thing here with the people taking the action to protect the land. It's happening on every level now. It's seeming that the people of Ganawagi are awakening, and I ain't gonna paint no kind of rosy picture or give anybody some kind of false hope, but I will say that today, that like what Aaron pointed out, he gave thanks that the peacekeepers were there, Forrest in particular, directing traffic. So this is something on one level, regardless of to what degree it is. You know, as I'm sure everybody knows, myself and the PKs do not see eye to eye. I do not see eye to eye with the ban system. They are all completely illegal. But I seen Forrest doing something today that even if he was just within the scope of him being a cop, he was doing something that was for the betterment and the protection of all Ganawagi Dona. So on some level, myself, a PK, Aaron, the people are all having some like we're getting closer to a common ground, where in the past, if we were doing something just on our own, it would cross the wires or step on the toes of the others. But something like this, it doesn't cross wires or step on toes of anyone. It's conducive to everyone. It's something that everyone in Ganawagi can stand behind because it is for the betterment of Ganawagi and Ono. It's for the betterment of everything. Yeah. So on small increments, we can say that just like in the meeting that was at Jason's a couple of weeks ago, the people who were gathered there. You would never see us sitting in the same place and time together. You would never see us talking with each other. But on that evening, as everyone seen, knows that we came together in a respectful way. No one was there as adversaries in any sense. Everybody was conducive to each other. Everything that was said was like assisting each other. It was conducive. Everyone was on track. So clearly that happened in that meeting. And then we see this little tiny example here today. I can say there's incremental movements to benefit of things being beneficial for all Ganawagirona, where all the different, say, factions are coming together for positive in a good way. Just like the way Aaron brought us together today. No, he might not see that, or nobody might see that as that. Well, Aaron didn't bring anybody together. He just went out there and he took an action. No, Aaron did bring us together. He's what got the cop out there. He's what got me out there. He's what got, maybe by us doing a live video, maybe you seen it. Maybe you drove by there. Maybe you just went, yeah, Aaron, good one. Or maybe you're just giving a comment. So there in increments, we are all working in that vein. We're all being conducive to each other. How often does that happen in Ganawagi? Woohoo, not too often, huh? So when it does, it's to be recognized, it's to be identified. Yeah. So identify today, I acknowledge that there was Aaron, one of Ganawagi, myself, and a PK, who were all there conducive to each other in the same space and time. I brought down, I walked there from here, and I had some orange cones, to put on the roads. I got these, and I brought 3 of them down there, and I put it from the stop sign at step by step, and I paced them out, I don't know, a couple of 100 feet apart from each other. So just to show anybody coming that, like there's these cones in the middle of the road, and we all know what that is in this area, like around Montreal. So as soon as you see those cones, you go, uh-oh, there's an issue. So, okay. On that, I'll leave that there. The only other thing for me to talk about tonight is that tomorrow we're in court. If tomorrow the 27th?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's tomorrow. 9:30. We're in court, in the appeals court, and of course it's not actually like the trial or anything like that. It's just the first like introduction, knock on the door, they open the door, they let us in, and they say, oh, hey, how's it going? And we say, oh, okay, we're here for this. So it's really going to be to set a date for the trial of our appeal. It's complicated. It is a complicated case. And just for everybody in Ganawagi to know that what I am appealing, of course, it's a tobacco charge. They got like 400, they're trying to squeeze 460,000 out of me, saying, excuse me, that when the SQ highway pirates stopped us and stole from us, because that's what they are, they're highway pirates that steal from the native people. And the only reason why they can do it and get away with it is because they're white men who got guns. Otherwise, that would never happen. You can never trust a white man with a gun. Never. A cop, you can never trust him. A white man, a white cop with a gun on his hip, never trust them for anything. So, they put the charge of the tobacco that we had, they said it was $460,000. So they're charging me $460,000, and the person that I was with, they're charging them $460,000. That's double indemnity. So you can't, this is where we say SQ highway pirates, it's the Quebec court highway pirates that are trying to steal off of me for, you think of if I broke somebody's windows and the windows cost $100, could they charge me $200 for that? They could only charge me the cost of the window if I'm going to fix it myself or to have it repaired. They can only charge me that cost one time. They can't charge me twice because then that would be a double indemnity. They can't do that. But it shows how systemically racist that the cops, the prosecution, the courts, the judges, all of them are together. And this is what I am pushing in the court. Systemic racial genocide. Every cop, every prosecutor, every judge in Quebec are the most systemically racist people in all of so-called Canada because they are the worst systemic racism of any other province. Other provinces, they're just as bad. Only thing is, as of recent, you haven't seen the other provinces killing any Native people like the way Quebec does. And Quebec kills Native people on a regular basis in an official capacity. They assassinate them with the SQ, as everybody knows. There are these two Inuit brothers, twins. It's about a year and a half ago. SQ murdered, assassinated a brother and injured the other for no reason in a remote community. Murderers. SQ are murderers. They're systemically racist. It's the mustache gang, huh? Everybody knows it. Quebec, systemically racist. They're either the mustache or else they're the mustache and beard gang. So, yeah, they're trying to charge us twice, double indemnity. And anyways, within the case, I'm arguing that in the appeal that we don't pay for court minutes. Of course, they're saying, yeah, we do. No, we don't. Natives do not have to pay for anything in the non-native colonial court system. If they insist on dragging us through that non-native colonial court system, knowing that their own Charter of Rights identifies that our treaty rights are recognized and affirmed, well, recognizing the firm should mean that on the political level, when they say that, it should mean that on the legal level, that they're abiding by that. But they don't. Which means that every judge is systemically racist. Every prosecutor is systemically racist. And this is what I am pushing, arguing in the court. I am saying that every judge, to their faces, you are racist, systemically racist. And when I say systemically racist, it's not that the judge or the prosecutor or the cop is in a system that is racist. No. When I say systemically racist, it means their own internal system. The individual is a racist. Okay, so within the argument, the side argument, a superior court judge put a false identity upon me and included me with being like all the other fools in town in Ganawagi who are dumb enough to identify themselves as Haudenosaunees. These are only the Christian Handsome Lakers and the band system and the Warrior Society. All the dum-dums. They all associate themselves as Haudenosaunee. Wherever that comes from, you know, that's Onondaga. And that's a Christian Handsome Lake thing. And the Haudenosaunees are represented by the band system legally. Doesn't matter what they want to say at the 207 or the Mohawk Trail. Oh no, we're not representing. They're full of shit. They're liars. The fact is that the 207, way back in the summer of 90, acquiesced to the ban system, which is who? Who is the ban system? Is that a native entity? No, it's not. What is it? The British imposed genocidal compliant ban system. It's there to comply with the genocidal policies. And so it's that ban system that is positioned itself through their Christian Handsome Lakers, giving them the acquiescing power to them, and the Warrior Society acquiescing power to them, granted the full right to the ban system to represent all Haudenosaunees. Whoever they are, you got to be stupid. If you're a Ganyangahaga or a Mohawk or Ganawage, anyone from Ganawage, and you're referring to yourself as Haudenosaunee, good for you. You're stupid. Good for you. You deserve whatever the hell you're going to get. Anybody who's going to call themselves that, you are a fool. You're not a Ganyangahaga. You're not a Mohawk. You're not even a Ganawage. You can't be if you identify yourself as Haudenosaunee. So, with this false identity they put upon me, that's what I'm appealing. Because never in my life, there's nobody on earth who could ever say they ever heard me identify as a Haudenosaunee. Anybody who would say that is, in fact, a liar. So, I'm appealing that identity, and that identity is ban system. So here in Ganawage, well, not just here in Ganawage, but throughout the descendants of the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy, any people within the descendants of that, all associating themselves as Haudenosaunee now, all of a sudden, when just 50 years ago, no one was identifying themselves as Haudenosaunee. Even the Onondagas couldn't identify when referencing the Five Nations, or even their corruption of Six Nations. They could never identify it as Haudenosaunee because it's not Haudenosaunee. Now, for anybody else to understand that, it would take a lot of explanation, and I ain't wasting my time on you. Not for that. If you exist in this world and you're stupid enough to call yourself Haudenosaunee, good for you. My court case is going to acknowledge your self-categorization, and we're going to accept it. We're going to accept that in my court case, we accept that everyone in Ganawage is Haudenosaunee, except for the people in the longhouse up the hill. We are the only ones who are not Haudenosaunee. We are the only people left throughout all Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy territories, the descendants of. We are now the only ones left anywhere that is not the Christian Handsome Lake bullshit Haudenosaunee ban system. We're the only ones who are not. The Warrior Society is that. They are that. Everybody knows the Christian Handsome Lakers are that. But the Warrior Society has been labeling themselves as Haudenosaunee for a long time. So good for them. Tomorrow, it's just a in the court to say when they're gonna set the date of the trial, the hearing for it in the Appeals Court of Quebec. And if they don't, this is where they're stuck now. The prosecution, the Quebec court, is in a quagmire because they know that from here, tomorrow, if they refuse our appeal, they know automatically we go back to the Supreme Court of Canada. And if they rule against us, they know we go back to the Supreme Court, no matter what. Quebec now is in between a rock and a hard place. They know this because we already took the case to the Supreme Court. They already accepted it, which means to get a leave to appeal in the Supreme Court. That means you gotta have grounds to appeal, and you gotta pretty much already have your case won, because otherwise they're not gonna hear it. So, Quebec is in a hard place. This means all so-called Haudenosaunees, you're in for a rough ride, because when we're in there, what it identifies is that yous are illegitimate. That all monies, all negotiations with the ban system is to stop immediately, because they are imposters. As clearly they state within their own radio commercials about the current land claim that they're pushing with Quebec. They state in the radio commercials that the ban system is now pursuing this land claim for lands that historically belonged to the Ganyangahaga. The people of Ganawagi are just too not there to know the legal implications of the trap that everybody stepped into. Everyone stepped into a ban system trap. Everyone in Ganawagi. There is nobody that is not. The only ones that are not is here in the Longhouse up the hill now. Okay, so tomorrow morning we're there. If anybody wanted to come and see the proceedings, it's via Teams. We will share the Teams code. You got to be there at least 15 minutes before. So the court is scheduled for 9:30 tomorrow. You got to be there by 9:15 minimum. At other times, they gave some of our people a hard time, some of our friends a hard time to get in. And so this is the corruption of the court. So just imagine if we were physically in court, they wouldn't be able to stop anyone from walking into the court and sitting there and observing. But on Teams, this is the corruption of the court itself that they manipulate, because the court is systemically racist. So they're trying to prevent people from actually witnessing the systemic racism of the courts by, in the Teams, by saying, oh, preventing people from getting in. Which last time we had a bunch of people who wanted to get in and a bunch of them couldn't get in. Okay, so I think that's all I got to address for tonight. Unless there is something, anything else that anybody's got. Oh, okay. We've been doing a second in a series with a podcast with a guy from Quebec City. His name is Gab Masson. What's the name of his podcast?
I try to stop.
But it's in French, right?
Yeah.
What does it say in French?
J'essaie d'arrêter.
Okay, so it's all in French. Of course, I don't speak French, so the part with me, it's not in French, but it translates. So it's very, it's the second episode that we had. It was filmed last week and it just aired yesterday.
Not tonight.
Tonight? I thought it was already up.
That was the preview only, what you shared.
Oh, just the preview.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so it's all tonight. We share it later, I guess. Yeah, anybody, I would encourage anybody to watch it. It's long, and I know, of course, maybe you're tired of hearing me, but the things that are addressed there are crucial to the two-row wampum relations. It's crucial to addressing the systemic racism within every so-called Quebecer and so-called Canadian, that everybody is racist. Everyone. It doesn't matter how non-racist you think you are or how non-racist you are trying to exercise in the world. Everyone is still subjected to that unless you are engaged in a proper two-row wampum relationship with the original peoples. Then non-native, you're racist. You're systemically racist, just quite simply by being here. Now, if you're here in my house and you're not here in a proper conducive relationship, then that means you're in my house without proper guidance, without being there properly. And what would that mean if you found somebody in your house that didn't belong there? So there you go. Okay, that's it. Unless there's something. I don't hear nobody saying nothing. That's it. Okay, we're gonna close up for tonight. One of the things that came to my mind earlier with Aaron, like I said, I know him only through the Longhouse. In 1987, when his mom was coming to the Longhouse behind Stephen McCumber's. So Aaron, I don't know how old he was back then, but that's how long I known him. But then in 89, we come back up here, we break away from Stevens at the midwinter, 89 into 90. So we're back here in the Longhouse here, and Aaron was here, everybody else was here. And what I think of with Aaron is when we were singing, sitting on the bench, and there was something really funny. I can't say it, but it's just something that I always think of with Aaron, and we always like talk about it, you know. So it just made me remember about the singing. How Aaron, when he was a little kid, he was sitting on the bench here with us, and he was learning the songs, and yeah, just brought memories of that back into my mind. Okay, we're gonna close up. Close with a song. I don't know what song, but Joe. The voice is really terrible. Oh, the drum is bit dead, dude. My mind is drawing a blank. What song? You way, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, na, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey. You way, ya, hey, ya, hey. Woo! Wee, that's all I can do. Sasun Dios.